A good embedded finance product can provide various benefits to their users. Often one of them is a better access to financial products. In today's episode, I'm speaking with a Spanish company that makes it easier for property managers to run the financial activities for their clients. This customer group has been mostly ignored by traditional banks, and there were no tailored products available. My guest is Enrique Sanchez, who's the managing director of IESA, which is part of Aareon Group. IESA offers an ERP software for property managers and launched an own banking product last year. I'm speaking with Enrique about why they decided to offer financial products, what the benefits for the customers are, and what they've learned since the launch. Welcome to the Embedded Finance Review podcast. My name is Lars Markull. Every 2 weeks, I'm interviewing the builders and shapers of embedded finance. And are you curious how to monetize your client ecosystem? Then take a look at ConnectPay, the sponsor of this podcast episode. Think of ConnectPay's embedded finance as the engine under your business hood. Financial and non-financial businesses can leverage the scalable banking-as-a-service solution to create more opportunities for clients in the EEA. Discover seamless payment and financial experiences. Visit connectpay.com. And now let's dive in. Hi, Enrique. How are you doing today? Welcome to the podcast. And in what part of the world are you actually located right now?
Hi, Lars. Thank you for having me today here. Right now I'm in Madrid at IESA facilities. I'm in my office. Madrid is home for me.
Nice. I mean, I'm based in Berlin, as many of my listeners know. Actually, the sun is shining right now, but otherwise I still see a lot of snow. I guess that always, when I talk to people in the more south, getting a little bit envy about the weather. I guess this is the same today as well.
Yeah, today is cloudy here as well, although we have 3 days in a row, very, very sunny and very, very nice days, but today's cloudy here.
Great. Let's dive in. Obviously, in this podcast, I speak with a lot of different companies from around the world who build embedded finance products. I'm typically most excited about companies like yours, those companies who are not fintechs, who are not banks, but they develop and offer financial products. And obviously, from my side, from the embedded finance industry, there's a lot of interest to understand better what kind of products, what the kind of financial product. But before looking into detail into financial products, I'm actually first quite keen to understand a little bit the companies behind there. We spoke about this in the pre-chat as well. There are Tucoban, there's IESA, there's Aareon, different companies in the background, the mix. It would be great, I think, for me, but also for the listeners, Enrique, if you can describe a little bit these different kind of companies and what their core business is before we dive into the financial product offering.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a software company that was set up 40 years ago. Actually, it's our 14th anniversary this year. And we develop an ERP specially customized for property administrators. And we have also a portal, which is kind of a meeting point for PAs, property administrators, homeowners, associations, owners, tenants, and contractors around the building. It started as a software company, of course, but along these years, we have developed some business layers. Now we could say that we have like a fintech business layers on top of that, also a legal tech layer. In some aspects, we are kind of a marketplace as well. We finally provide with products and services for PAs, for homeowners associations and contractors and owners and tenants around the building. And Aareon is the absolute leader in real estate software solutions in Europe, without a doubt.
Okay, so that means, like for my understanding, also for the listeners, yes, there is the Spanish unit, so to say, or the Spanish brand that Aareon is using, and the software that you're providing in the Spanish market, like for homeowners and in this real estate segment, there are similar companies also in other European countries under potentially other brands, but also under the Aareon group, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And can you describe maybe a little bit like you said, of course, homeowner associations, and we will specifically, I guess, look at this homeowner associations a little bit more in detail, but like what kind of companies are exactly using these software products? I mean, others, I understand all of them have maybe properties to manage. Quite keen to understand what do they exactly do in this kind of software. I mean, maybe there are some people out there who are in the similar industry and know very well what this means, but maybe for those of us who don't know so much about the space, what do they exactly do with the software? And maybe what's always very interesting for me is what size of these businesses? Are these like more like small family-owned businesses, or are those bigger corporation? Quite keen to also get some light onto that.
Yeah. Yeah, for a better understanding of the Spanish market, for example, from my colleagues in North Europe, now I have learned that, for example, in Germany, 30% of the units are social housing. But it's a little different here. Only 1 or 2% of the total market in Spain is social housing. So mostly everybody here lives in a homeowner association. These homeowners associations are run and managed by a professional that is called here property administrator. There are 15,000 property administrators here in Spain, and they usually manage all around the buildings. They issue the monthly receipt that the owners must pay to keep the building in good shape. They contract with different providers or contractors, the maintenance of the building. They pay all the invoices of the building, watering, electricity, etc.
And is it fair to say, like let's take a very concrete example. Let's say maybe not but somebody's building a complete new building, a new complex, maybe in Madrid, and basically the property is now finished. That means at that point of time, typically what the owner or maybe the company behind this would do, they would then look for a company. This is kind of like person or company to basically help run all these things. So basically this company that you described right now is providing services for these owners of properties.
Yes, but there are not many SOCIMIs here in Spain. So mostly what happens is that a company starts and finishes a building, then sell the units to people, and then these owners who contract the property administrator to manage all the things around the building.
And those typically, this property managers and basically take care of the stuff that's in regard of the whole building. Everybody has their own units and takes care of their own four walls, as you say. But then, of course, the property managers are responsible maybe for the outside walls of the building and the roof and all these kind of things. Okay. And is it unfair to say that with IESA and in Spain, but also maybe Aareon and in other countries, the software now that you provide is basically for these companies who manage these properties? So then quite keen to understand what do they exactly do with, let's say, what is the core features of IESA software that most of these customers would use?
Yeah, the main product that we provide with the property administrators is our ERP. It's the tool they manage the buildings with. They define how many units are in the building, who are the owners, who is going to be the budget, the yearly budget for the building. They issue the monthly or quarterly receipts that the owners must pay to keep the building in shape. They contract, many times signed on behalf of the owners, the contract with contractors, and take care of the building in almost every aspect. Even when there is some kind of controversy between two owners, they are kind of a referee, to solve the problem.
Understood. And did you say the approximate market figure for these service providers is like 15,000 in Spain?
Yeah, 15,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they use your software or basically to perform all these kind of activities in regards to the properties.
Yes. Our figure is like approximately 80% of the PAs are using our software now.
Okay, interesting. And now let's come now to the financial products. I think in the introduction you mentioned already there's I think you said a fintech layer, a legal layer as well, like different kind of like aspects that probably with the ERP you're kind of like going into. So obviously here on the Embedded Finance Review podcast, quite keen to understand a little bit better the fintech product, the financial product you're offering. So maybe you can describe the core product offering, and then maybe we can dive a little bit into details as well.
Yes. Well, 2 years ago, we realized that property administrators and homeowners associations were not top customers for traditional bank because they are in a small group. The PAs are in a small group. They didn't have a customized bank account for them. So we realized that we were in the best position to come up with a unique product for them.
And maybe to describe, I mean, for maybe for a person like me who like you based in Germany who doesn't exactly know like how these homeowner association work, who would open this bank account? Is this like the service company who is providing the services? Would they open a bank account, or who is actually the entity owning this bank account? Or maybe in the old world, who is that person walking to the bank branch and trying to open the bank account?
Yeah, following the law, every homeowners association has to point out president of the homeowner association, who is the legal representative of the building.
Okay.
So the president and the PA come together to a bank office to open the bank account.
And that's basically like how typically, let's say in the past, how this would have been happened. So basically, let's come back to our example. There's a new property in Madrid. Company built it, finished it, sold 20 units to 20 different individuals, and then one of the first things these 20 different parties, individuals who has bought these different flats, they have to obviously contract a company who manage the property. That's what we discussed before, but also in addition have to appoint, vote for a person who's becoming like a legal representative. Yes. Because at the end of it, what I'm guessing is now you open a bank account, and what I assume, correct me if I'm wrong here, the bank account is opened, and then let's say, or it's all equal in this case, all 20 individuals party pay in maybe on a monthly or yearly basis. They pay in a certain amount to this bank account, which is then being used for expenses that are related to the whole building. But obviously, it wouldn't be right that the service company is owning this bank account and having access to those funds. I mean, they might be having access to the funds to spend them in the name of the homeowner association. But at the end of it, it's not their money, right? So this is basically the reason why the president.
And the point is that every single year, the president of the building of the homeowner association changes by law.
Okay.
So every year, the property administrator and the new president or president must go to the bank offices physically to change the person who is authorized, to transfer money or to pay receipts or wherever. Yeah. So it's a pain in the neck for PAs and the presidents, to spend a lot of time, in offices, etc.
But then focusing again a little bit on the past, let's describe it the past, where these two individuals would walk into a bank branch. You said, I think initially already, that it was not always easy for them to, let's say, to find a bank or to open a bank account. I'm not sure if you have a view on that, but how are generally like banks thinking about these accounts for the homeowner association? Like from my perspective, I mean, typically when it comes to banks and these kind of like bank accounts, obviously they either they want to make money directly with these bank accounts, or obviously potentially through cross-selling of other products, insurance products, investment products to individuals. I guess this second option is not really here any realistic scenario. So basically they have to make money with the account itself, which again might be also probably quite complicated depending on the requirements. So was there like one bank potentially who was like really focused on these kind of homeowner associations, or did it more depend on where the president has his home bank account, the first president, and then tried to kind of get this account open?
You're absolutely right. The point is that they are not top customers for traditional bank because they cannot offer them and selling a lot of a large portfolio or financial products. The only thing they can do is offer a bank account, maybe a credit card or a debit card in 10% of the times. Once every 20 years alone, if they need money to repair, the facades or the roof or whatever. But they are not like other kind of customers that they can offer very complex financial products, etc. So that's the point, because there is not a customized and personalized bank account from traditional banks for PAs and homeowners associations. And that's the point that we realize, okay, our customers need it. Actually, the property administrators ask us to say, okay, why don't you think of opening a digital bank account for us?
What was your first reaction when customers told you that? Were you like excited, yes, let's offer financial services, or rather hesitant to get into the space at all?
Well, actually, I thought, wow, they're right. They're right. Because it's true that they spend a lot of time, doing routine tasks that could be automated, and they are spending a lot of time, wasting actually a lot of time in a bank office. Some of our customers said, okay, I spend one morning a week in the bank office,
Wow.
doing some routine stuff. We thought, all right, we need to do something. It's real that many years ago we started another financial product, what is a financial aggregator. Every day we download all the bank movements from the homeowners association bank accounts, into our ERP, and then we have robot that we design rules, in order to accounting all these movements automatically into our ERP, and is used right now. Is more than 7,000 PAs are using these tools and are very happy. So we thought, why not? Why not step forward, a little more and open this digital bank account? So we started thinking about this. We did the research with the Spanish Central Bank to say, okay, what do we need to do to start to get our own license? And we realized that it was a long path, and it was very time costing, to get our own license. So we open the range and say, okay, let's find out if there is someone else, outside that we can partner with, and be very quick, to launch this product. So we started conversations with 5 different potential partners, and we reached an agreement with Swan as a banking as a service platform, and it's working. I must say, it's working very, very well. We understand each other. They have been very flexible, trying to understand, because they are French. Their headquarters are in Paris, and they didn't know exactly how this market work in Spain. And they have been very flexible. They have follow our guidelines, and recommendations, and the collaboration is going very, very, very fluid.
It's great to hear. And also, I think how you described it with potentially like for your first step in financial services, or I mean, you described it, the aggregator part, the fintech term, like I don't know, first you used open banking to access existing bank accounts and basically only use the data then to feed into a system. But obviously, as you described it, there's a benefit of getting these data into your systems, but obviously there's still a lot of other hassle that the customers have with like opening these bank accounts and managing it outside. What I would then quite keen to understand, I mean, we spoke now, or I asked quite a bit of questions around the old times, how bank account opening and the process works in the old time. Now, from what I understood, this is now Tucuban, the brand that you launched, where you offer these financial products in cooperation with Swan to home associations in Spain. How can you describe, like very high level, like how does a customer journey look like? I would assume it's a pure digital product. That means the homeowner, president of the home association, sits at home and goes through the whole process. Maybe you can shed some light on how it now looks like for these to open a bank account.
Yes, sure. The beauty of this product and what makes it absolutely unique is that it's fully integrated into our ERP. So, and in this ERP, there are a lot of docs that usually are needed to open the bank account, etc. So we don't need our customers to enter the docs anymore, or again,
because you have them already.
because we have already into the system. So, for example, to open a new bank account is a 2 steps digital process, very simple. First of all, is they choose the homeowner associations they want to open the bank account for. We realize the docs, and then they say, okay, we approve all the terms and conditions that are needed to open the bank account, and it's done. Or, I don't know, issuing the monthly receipt that the owners must pay is literally a one-click process into the system. They say, okay, this is the homeowners association. I want to issue the receipt. Then the system realize that this building has a Tucuban bank account, I'll say, okay, it's done. Don't worry anymore. All the remittance are issued and the process is okay. Or I don't know, when the president of the homeowners association changes, the only thing the PA has to do is update the documentation that is saying, okay, the new president is this guy, and then we send a check to the phone number and email to this new person and say, okay, we update the docs, and that's it. So we save a lot of time, of money. And since everything is, or almost everything is automated, we can reduce the monthly fees that the homeowners associations are paying
Really?
actually. So we are trying to save at least 40% on the monthly fees that they are paying. Almost everything they need to do is inside and integrated into the systems.
I think that the typical embedded finance language, when we talk about like embedding financial products into other software and solutions, I think it's always a typical example. I think here it's also very clear as well. In the old days, you have like your ERP and you have a bank account. Yes, of course, you can, as you described it, like download the transactions on a daily basis and feed them into the ERP system. But I think everybody can very easily understand when this is directly embedded in the ERP, there is so many more benefits because you can basically like operate or use the financial account exactly where you need it. Because typically you might, even though you can feed the data in, there's probably like a couple of steps you have to do in the ERP, and then you have to switch. The person who's using it has to switch them to the bank account, to the online banking, does it over there, then switch back and operate it there, or basically operate two systems. And that's obviously now like embedded into one.
And furthermore, we are implementing some checks and alarms that we know that usually the property administrator needs. For example, when a new contractor is issuing a receipt to the bank account, we put at the flag and saying, okay, this is the first time this contractor is issuing a receipt. Are you sure it's okay? Yeah. Or, for example, if the monthly watering receipt is increasing 20% over the monthly basis, we raised a flag and said, okay, this time you are paying 20% more. Maybe you have a leak in the building, so watch out. You have to control this or that. And for the future, in our roadmap, there are a lot of things, including AI, that we can check patterns from similar buildings and say, and make recommendation to our customers saying, okay, you have the same profile. This building has the same profile that others around the area, and you have 20% more cost in watering and electricity. So you are throwing tons of CO2 to the atmosphere, and you should reduce it. So we recommend you control and check this or that. So,
and I guess you could always argue, well, these features could also be offered and implemented with the aggregator / open banking solution, because you also have the same kind of like financial data. But then again, from reality, what I know as well is once you operate this bank account and you have full access, real-time access to all the transactions, you also start thinking about them very differently, because now it's not just a different financial provider who's offering these services and you try to match the data, but this is your product now, so you're taking it to another level to think what else can you be doing. And I guess especially the comparison to other properties is something which, of course, only a company like yours can basically do, where you can say like give guidance to the president to perhaps what is potentially something worthwhile to look into.
Yes, of course, data protection is a very important thing for us, but respecting, of course, absolutely data protection, we can make recommendation, and
of course
there is a lot of thinking about this, because I think we can help customers to reduce their monthly receipts and help the country to reduce the general consumption in water and in electricity. Water is a very important thing here in Spain.
Of course. And then Enrique, remind me, when did you, I mean, for our listeners as well, when did you launch this product? Like, when did you go live with Tukuban? And what is your plan with promoting these products, right? From what you described right now, from my external view, I would say, well, the most easiest parties to target is those who don't have a bank account yet, basically those who are getting started very fresh and they don't want to visit their local bank branch. Those probably would be like good parties, but in a way you also described there are quite some benefits, including cost saving when switching from a traditional bank to your solution. So quite interested how you're currently thinking about the go-to-market, the promotion of these services, and maybe how also would it look like in the next months or years when you need even better understanding of the customer usage.
Yes, absolutely. We set up this product last year, and right now more than 500 PAs, property administrator, are using the tool. Monthly, around 50, 60 new PAs try and test the tool and open 2 or 3 bank accounts. Monthly, we are opening, I would say, like 400 new bank accounts. And as long as they are using the tool and they spread the word and the experience, more customers are approaching us and say, okay, I heard a lot of good things about this product. I would like to try with one of my buildings, one of my homeowners associations, and experience if what other colleagues are saying is really true.
And of course, like that's what it's quite obvious. What I just realized that obviously you target the PAs, right? The service companies, not the homeowner associations directly, because at the end of it, you are at that point of time don't have a direct relationship with them. But obviously, maybe this PA who is potentially managing a couple of properties, and then maybe as a new one, or maybe just one where it's struggling with the bank at the moment, and then takes a switch. And then obviously, this one PA is not just like potentially one customer, one bank account view. This could be a lot more depending on the size of their business, right?
Yes, our approach is more B2B2B or B2B2C approach than our B2B or B2C directly. We go obviously through our customers that are the property administrators, share all the information benefits for them, for the homeowners association, and then they decide to come to the president of the homeowners association or all the owners and say, okay, I'm thinking about this, or I want to propose you this new product and this new bank. What do you think about it?
And is there, not sure if an answer to that question, but you said in May you launched it. So, I mean, now we're recording it here mid-February. So it's not a full year yet, but coming to a full year. I don't know, is something learned in the last year while offering these products that you didn't know before? Is there initially, I guess there was a very clear understanding, or potentially you thought you have a very clear understanding how the product should look like, but then we all know, like, going out there with a new product and getting feedback from the market, and something changes. Is there something that has changed in the last year for you?
Yes, of course, because our customers almost every day come back with some new ideas, or saying, okay, it will be great if you implement this or that. Or, for example, at the very beginning, we didn't think about having our own debit card. And now we realize that not every time, not for every building, but sometimes it's needed. So in 2 or 3 weeks, we will be setting up our own debit card, for example. But there are many other things that we will share, that ideas that, because they are using this tool every day. So, and
of course,
on average, they manage 50 to 60 buildings. So they have a lot of ideas that sometimes we didn't realize that they could be a really good idea.
Interesting. Enrique, the very first question in the podcast was also around IESA as part of Aareon Group. Obviously, now you spoke about the financial product Tukuban that you launched in the Spanish market. Quite keen to understand as well, is this like something that happens in the group only with IESA in Spain? Is there some kind of similar initiatives also in other European countries? Obviously, the homeowner association might be something very unique to specific countries, but maybe not only Spain. So quite keen to understand if in the group is also some, let's say, some embedded finance, fintech activities.
Yes, well, Pay has been a line of services for a long time in Aareon Group, but there is no other country that has set up a digital bank account yet. But our colleagues are watching us and following, the development of this new product and are eager to know more. Well, we don't know what next, but yeah, why not to export this idea to other countries?
Exactly. I mean, this is obviously with your company, the service you offer very tailored to the real estate and property management. I think in general in fintech / embedded finance, we're seeing a lot of different vertical software providers specifically that have some kind of an ERP element who are looking sooner or later to integrate some of these financial products. I guess it's like in your example, it's always extremely helpful if the current solution is rather painful. And I guess specifically, maybe I'm not an expert on this, obviously, but maybe specifically the yearly change of president and changing these things is some additional friction in the process. So even somebody who was successful with opening a bank account still encounters this issue on a regular basis. So it kind of pops them in their head as well. Why is there? I mean, now everybody, not everybody, but we're seeing a lot of digital banks out there. So obviously we are also getting trained like banks don't have to be clumsy and old school. Why isn't there something better for this account as well? And this maybe makes your marketing and go to market easier as well.
Yeah, and the digital bank accounts are very mature now. I mean, I don't know, but I read that Revolut last year acquired like 10 million new customers in a year.
Yeah.
So
it's not these trend to ignore on the side anymore, right? It's something like very, very, very present and very, very reasonable. Great, very interesting. Thanks for sharing all the insights. We connected a couple of weeks ago. I obviously read the announcement when you launched the product last year. Was always quite interesting to understand how the financial products work for the property managers. So thank you for sharing all the insights. If there's a listener out there or a party out there who wants to learn more about you and to the services, maybe specifically embedded finance product, what's the best way to get in touch with you or to learn more?
Of course, all our channels are open, LinkedIn, YouTube, of course, our webpage and our telephone here at the office. So everybody's welcome to join us, to ping and ask.
Amazing. Enrique, I'll make sure to follow to see the next months and years what kind of like other financial products you are potentially looking into or how the adoption is. So maybe we can do a catch up in a couple of years and take a review of the past years. But for so far, thank you. And until next time. Thank you for listening. For more episodes and our weekly newsletter, please visit embeddedfinancereview.com. And please reach out if you have an interesting embedded finance story to tell. Until next time.